Hi Rahul, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, you are
Hello.
audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Rahul, we are starting, okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Wait, wait.
A very good evening to everybody. We are back with another session, and this is going to be session 3 for our board prep blueprint series for class 10th. And this one is going to be a double power punch because we are diving into two core subjects. One which define the logic, observation, and the another one which defines the application. Science and mathematics are the two subjects that I am talking about. With CBSE shift to competency based assessment, these subjects are no longer just about formulas or definition. They are more about how you apply what you have known to solve the problems you haven't seen before. And to lead this high impact session, we have with us none other than Neil Manish Srivastav, sir, a name that students across the country recognize and trust. With a reputation built on concept clarity, engaging delivery, and result oriented strategies, NMS Sir has mentored thousands of class 10th and 12th students across India. He is widely known for breaking down even the most complex scientific and mathematical concepts into simple, relatable explanations and for training students not just to understand the subject, but to excel in the exams. His sessions are high energy, interactive, and always filled with practical tips, memorable shortcuts, and even exam focused insights. So make sure that you are grabbing your notebooks because this one is going to be a fast paced, focused, and full of takeaways. But before we move ahead, let's also look at some of the quiz instructions because this session is also going to have quiz in the end. So all the participants, you will be able to register for the webinars before you attend the quiz. Make sure that you are tuning in at the end of the session so that you can access the QR code to access the quiz link. You can start attempting the quiz from August 8th onwards from 10 a.m. till September 30, 10 a.m. There will be 11 different subjects that you can attempt the quizzes for. Each quiz will have 30 questions and each quiz is going to have three different top scorers who can win a chance to uh, grab Amazon vouchers worth up to 3,000. And all the winners will be announced in our part 2 webinar series, which will be live on November 6th and November 7th. So make sure that you are registering for those sessions as well. Now let's take a look at quick housekeeping rules. All the participants will be muted throughout the session. Make sure that you have a pen and paper with you so that you can note all the important information. The chat box will be enabled during the Q&A round and as requested by the speaker. And like I mentioned, stay tuned at the end of the session as well so that you can access the quiz link. Now, without further delay, I hand over the session to NMS sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. My name is Demystifying Srivastava, and I am here in Kota, mentoring for ID, JEE, and NEET student for last 20 years. So, बेटा आज हम जो बात करने वाले हैं वो इस बारे में है कि जो बोर्ड में एक नया चेंज आया है. इफ वी टॉक अबाउट न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी और जो हमारा नया कोर्स फ्रेमवर्क है उसके हिसाब से हमारे एक नया चेंज आया है. वो चेंज कह रहा है कि फ्रॉम नाउ इन बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन वी विल इंक्लूड competency based questions, and they are saying कि the weightage of competency based question will be more than 50%, and in later years it would be 100%. What does that mean? Why it is required? Why new education policy think in this manner? Why they are making our life hell? Why they don't let it be in the way it was? क्या इनको जबरदस्ती कुछ करने का मन कर रहा है? नहीं, इस बात को समझिए। आज से पहले आप एक बात को समझिए कि हमेशा ये हमने देखा है कि जो स्कूल टॉपर होता है, बोर्ड टॉपर होता था पहले, वो आईटी जेई एंड नीट जैसे एग्जामिनेशन में या और भी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशंस में उतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहा होता है। तो हमें लगा कि व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट? द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट कि द वे यू स्टडी इज there is some problem there only कि how you study, how you study in your school, आप कैसे पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, उसका डिफरेंस है। जो कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स में क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं और जिस तरह से आप पढ़ रहे हैं उसमें एक डिफरेंस है। उस डिफरेंस के कारण ये एक बहुत ट्रू रिफ्लेक्शन नहीं हो पा रहा है, यानी बोर्ड के परसेंटेज का अच्छा होना, दिस इज नॉट गारंटिंग दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट सक्सेस इन कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स लाइक आईटी जेईई एंड नीट। Why it was there? Because आपका तरीका पहले, I'm sorry to say, but it was your method. आप सिर्फ मगते थे, यानी it was totally rote learning. Okay. Ranjana, Ranjana, am I audible now? Because I have seen that you are writing that I am not audible. Do you find me audible now? Video is clear, video is not clear. Please explain. Your video is not clear, your screen is blurring. So of course, but I hope all of you understand English. So I will continue in English. There is no problem in that. But the point is, am I audible clearly and visible clearly? If first of all, I have to check this if I'm audible and visible clearly, bache. If you find me audible and visible, then only I can communicate.
Sir, actually your video is really blurry and also the background stream.
Okay, so Rahul, can you help me with this? What about now? Do you guys find me visible clearly, or still you're finding some difficulty in the visuals?
So it is still blurry.
Still, okay, okay, okay. So it might be my problem also. I'm not a very application-based teacher because I don't know what to do here. So Rahul is helping us. So in meantime, you can hear me. I mean, the only difference here is the method we used to adopt in school earlier was completely based on rote learning. When there will be exam, you start studying in a way. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process in which then you see again on the notebook, and you try to mug up the situation. Now what you have to see, now how you have to see photosynthesis, that in photosynthesis, when light rays come from the sun, then this chlorophyll absorb energy from it. you have to visualize things. You have to see what is happening here. Then only you will understand. And if you understand it properly, you never need to mug up. You just have to write it in the proper manner, and you can deal with competency-based questions. I will explain everything. But first of all, you have to understand, you have to change the method of study. It is not about mugging up all the formula without understanding it. For example, if I take a simple example, I am audible for some time. You just close your eyes and listen to me carefully, because in that case, I'm audible enough. So you can listen to me. For example, if I talk about Newton's third law, and it is written, every action has equal and opposite reaction. You mugged it up. You mugged it up. But did you understand? Because all of you are in class 10, so you must have gone through this statement in class 9, that every action has equal and opposite reaction, and that is called Newton's third law. What does that mean? Do you understand that? What does Newton's law want to say? What does it want to communicate? What exactly it means every action has equal and opposite reaction? Do you understand this? Can anybody among you explain me what does Newton's law mean? What does this Newton's third law says? It gives, because if you mug up and you try to decode the word, when you are, somebody will ask you what does it mean, then you will try to understand every action has equal and opposite reaction. Then you will try to find out the literal meaning of action and reaction. Then you will think there is some force which is called action, and whenever it is applied, another reaction will be applied. This is what you might be thinking. It means you didn't understand what Newton's third law is. What Newton's third law is. So there is a problem. There is a problem. You are now only interested, you were actually in school, were only interested in mugging up the information. Information mugging will not give you anything. Information mugging cannot make you employable. Information mugging cannot make you competent, because you know, in today's world, even in presence of artificial intelligence, even the processing of information is there, which can be done by a cheaper, dumb computer. Then why the hell somebody will hire me for that? So information is something which was not very much, obviously you need to be informed, but you need to have a capability to process that information. You have to understand what this information carries, what it is. Am I audible? Am I audible? Now both voice and video. Thank you. So without moving further, let's try to break it down. What does it mean? Every action has equal and opposite reaction. Let's take this a simple example. We'll discuss everything. We'll discuss about how to deal with this competency-based question and how to master it. First of all, you have to change your mindset, beta. You have to change the way you used to process the information given in book, or at least in science and math. Because science and math is something, as the ma'am suggested in the very beginning, it is the most important fundamental thing, which involves a lot of analytical skill, जो आपको different बनाएगी. So first of all, you have to change the method you see the subject. If you see the subject as if you are mugging up all the information, you are not going anywhere. Initially, you used to get marks in board for that, but from now, you're not going to get marks in board also. Why? Because boards is also thinking, why the hell why I need a lot of information fed human being. I don't need such kind of human being. They are not going to contribute in the society. They are not going to contribute in science. They are not going to contribute in mathematics. They are not going to contribute in development of the country. They are not going to contribute in any sense, because a piece of multiple information can be accessed anytime, anywhere with your phone. Now what is required? The person who is capable of doing things, who is capable of processing. You have to change the method. You have to change the method. Whenever you study something, stay there on that line and ask each and every point. Why, ma'am? Why you are saying this? What is action here? What is reaction here? What does mean action and reaction? Which one is action? Which one is reaction? For example, if I take this, I am just saying this. For example, there is a floor and there is a block of mass M kept here, because you are a ninth pass, so you must tell me the answer of this particular question. I have taken a block of mass M kept on a floor. If I say the earth is pulling it with the force of mg, then if I ask you what will be the reaction force in this case, what would be your answer, beta? Tell me what would be the answer. What would be the answer? If I say that mg is the action, if I entitle mg, the force by earth on the block, as action, then what will you say about reaction? Which force will be reaction? Please tell me. Now, do you guys find me audible and visible?
Sir, you are audible, but the video is really blurry. Maybe we can pause for a minute. All participants can please wait for a minute and we can try rejoining.
One thing Rahul was suggesting, that if you what are you suggesting? Zoom को restart कर लेंगे तो हो जाएगा, because in some phone here we are finding the video to be very good quality. We are just joining it, not
Okay.
good quality. Okay, so can we do this one once again? We can rejoin Zoom.
Sure, ma'am.
Is it?
Sure, sir. You can.
Yeah.
We'll wait. All the participants, please wait for a minute. Sir will rejoin.
Let's try. What now? Am I audible now? Sugesh? Yes. And what about the video? Am I visible clearly? Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rahul. So, before going for this quick break, I have asked a question: if I consider on this block, mg is the action force, what is the reaction force? And most of you have answered me, normal reaction will be the reaction force. So this is the problem. This is the problem, because you didn't understand. Even you did, it was not explained properly, because you were also not interested at the time that this is not what Newton was trying to say. Normal is not the reaction force for this. Normal is not the reaction force for this. Whenever some scientific statements are made, it is very systematic and crisp. There you need somebody to explain that thing. What action reaction means. It is just not 3 words. Every action has equal and opposite reaction. It has a hell lot of meaning behind it. Sometimes you've heard this word, you have to understand them between the lines. So you have to understand actually this line through an explanation. It owes an explanation. It needs an explanation. It needs at least 15-minute explanation for this. What does Newton's third law says? It is not saying that normal is the reaction force in this case. Every action has equal and opposite reaction does not mean that normal reaction will be the reaction force for this. And somebody is saying minus mg. Again, somebody is saying minus mg is this. Minus gives you sense because you have said opposite, then you said minus. Somebody said gravitational force. But first of all, you have to understand the meaning of this. So whenever, what you have to do, you just have to make a small change in life. You just have to make a small change in the way you study. Whenever you study a line, try to understand that line not exactly in the way it is written, but in a language, but in a simple language which you can use in communication. Because sophisticated, because if I study Shakespeare, then obviously there are some lines written there which are written in English, but in a different form of English which I don't use in normal life. But I can mug up that particular line, but I need to understand that particular line in my own language, because this is how my thought process works. All the thoughts come in my mind in form of language. So it has to be very clear, crystal clear in the language which I understand clearly. Then you have to ask each time, what does that mean? What does action reaction mean? So this is the only difference. Because in board examination before 2026, you can pass the examination just by knowing that every action has equal and opposite reaction, not doing anything, because they are going to ask what is Newton's third law. Now they are going to understand how to apply Newton's third law. What is the benefit of Newton's third law? Why they are saying this? What is the outcome of it? So we have to go through detail of everything. So this is what you have to understand. Am I making sense? Somebody comes with a new fancy word, centrifugal force. First of all, centrifugal force is not a force at all. Centrifugal force is not a force at all. It is a mathematical correction term. We will understand it. You need not to talk about the centrifugal force at this moment. But yes, centrifugal is not a force. It is not at all a force. And these, actually what happens, these mugging up habits जो है आपकी, it makes inertia in your brain, and when you go for competitive exams, these inertia become hurdle in getting success in exam like that, JEE and NEET, because you have mugged up in a different manner, you have understood it in a different manner, but when nobody is asking you, nobody is assessing you what you are understanding. So whenever somebody is asking, they're just asking what is Newton's third law. They're not asking the detailed meaning of this. They have never asked you to write an essay on this. Because if I would be teaching class 8th, 9th, 10th, I always say, if I explain this, this is my homework. Just write a essay on this. Just try to write 20 lines on this. Then only you will understand. And language is no bar. If you want to write in Tamil, you write in Tamil. But explain me in the language I understand. But if you want to write in Urdu, you can write it in Urdu. But try to understand that particular thing in a manner that it gives you sense of logic. It gives you why, okay, that is the thing what Newton wants to say. And when you start dealing this situation in this manner, you will start loving your science and maths. And the day you start loving your science and math, nobody can stop you to get success in your life. You can crack any exam comes in your way. So this is the only difference. And government was seeing this constantly. Government was seeing why competitive exams के लिए there are coaching institutes, and NMS sir and other XYZ are being an IT and they are teaching this because they know that school cannot complete this. School has no capability, had no capability at that time, because they are just focusing on the rote examination. And why they are focusing on the rote manner of learning? Because examination are asking the same kind of question, because school knows I want to make sure that the student get good marks in board examination. The student will get good marks in board examination if he mug up everything, and I know how to make him mug up, and they are trying it. If board will push everybody that competitive based question will be there, then school will also want to excel in board. So they will also emphasize on understanding the concept. Then only you will be able to solve the question, because by rote learning it is not possible. Am I making sense? So you guys are the hope of India. We trust you. We think someday there will be a situation, we will be in a place where their inventions will be made here in India. So you guys are there. We are trusting on you guys. So first of all, India is trusting on you guys, that you have to behave in that manner. You have to understand the situation. Are you getting my point? Yeah, I'll tell you the correct answer. There is somebody saying education is not everything. It means he is not educated enough to understand the power of education. I don't know who is this guy. I don't want to get into that, because education is not about learning physics, chemistry, and maths. Education is all about that your mind works in a particular scenario. For example, if you know how to behave properly in a society, how to behave properly in a Zoom session, you are educated. If you are saying this kind of indecent statement in the Zoom meeting, it is not meant for the Zoom meeting. It means you are not educated. That's why you are saying this. Now, what does somebody is asking, sister, please explain me what the correct answer of this question. What Newton has said in action reaction wali baat mein, he said whenever there are two bodies A and B, there are two bodies A and B, force jo hota hai, force is push or pull, and it is a matter of interaction. Force cannot exist without two participants. Only one person is there, then force cannot exist, because there must be somebody, because force is an interaction. Somebody will apply force on me. So there will be agency, there will be agent. Somebody is applying force, somebody is being acted upon force. So there must be two persons all the time. So what Newton's third law says, कि if A and B and they are pushing or pulling each other, then Newton's third law says कि A and B will interact. What does interaction mean? Interaction means interaction and teaching. There is when you interact with somebody and when you're learning from somebody, there's a difference. When you say you are interacting with, you are being at the same level. Nobody is better, nobody is worse. Both are at the same level. So what does Newton says? When two bodies interact with each other, they have equal capability. ये नहीं कि this is smaller, this is bigger. दोनों की औकात बराबर है. Both have equal capability. If A will push B, Newton says, Newton does not want to say कि action opposite. उसने कहा कि Newton says कि A and B, when they are going to interact with each other, they interact with equal capabilities. What does it mean? If A will push B, B will push A. Yani if A is pushing B, at the same time, B is also pushing A. A pushes B, B pushes A. Who pushes first? Nobody can answer. It is a process of spontaneity. It means both acts together. It is not something like that. I did this and I get the result. Action and reaction gives a feeling that action is performed. Then because of this action, this reaction is happening. It is not like that. What Newton said, the force between A and B is a force of interaction. Both have equal capability. If A will push B, B will push A. कोई पहले कोई बाद में नहीं. Not first, not second. Everybody is equal. If A will push B, B will push A. As simple as that. If A will push B with 10 Newton, B will push A with 10 Newton. So, on this block, the force mg is, who is applying this force mg? This earth. This earth. And this is block. So, Newton said, if earth is pulling block with mg, then block will pull earth with mg. So, this is the reaction force. This mg is the reaction force. If you will pull me, I'll pull you. If you push me, I'll push you. If you pull me, I'll pull you. If you push me, I'll push you. If you push me with 10 Newton, I'll push you with 10 Newton. No, you are not better than me. You are not lesser than me. I and you, when we are interacting, we have equal auqat. The same amount of force, the same type of force, both of them will apply on each other. Now, you may ask, then why, if I drop this pen, if I leave this pen here, earth is pulling it downward, it is going down, but it is also pulling earth upward. Why earth is not going upward? Here comes Newton's second law. It says what will be the effect of force? There is a cause, force is the cause, which will try to make it move, which will try to create an acceleration. But the effect will come on the basis of inertia. F equal to ma. Earth has larger inertia, larger mass, so it is experiencing a force upward. It is experiencing a force upward. But it is not moving. You cannot see it moving. The reason, the force, the mass of the earth is very large. But it is experiencing a force at the same time. I hope I make it clear. Thank you. It is mg, beta. There is nothing to worry about mg. What the answer will be, there is no minus finus. There is no minus. Minus finus is just a symbolic way. The answer will be, if mg is the action, then the earth will experience a force of mg towards the block, and that is reaction. If block is being pulled by earth as an action, then earth will be pulled by block, and that is called reaction. No third person can there. Normal is differently. But whatever somebody says normal, the normal is the surface is pushing this block with n. Then at the same time, the block is pushing surface with n. So reaction of n will be n. Reaction of n will be n. I hope you got this point. So I'm not carried away. ऐसा मत सोचिएगा. Don't think in a way that I have to talk about what kind of questions will be there, how to study. I want to tell you first thing, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset. You have to understand. You have to be involved. Please try to ask questions, and not only ask questions. Try to understand. And please be puzzled till the time you understand the meaning of every line. If you will understand here in class 9 what is the Newton's law, you are going to get sure success in IIT and NEET examination for sure. Because you now is thinking in the right direction. You know how to process the information. You know how to process the information. I hope you have seen multiple times on this Instagram and YouTube short, somebody will come with asking a very silly question, mathematical silly question, what is the 40%? If you divide 60 by half, what will be the answer? If you divide 60 by half, what will be the answer? And you see many people who have done well in their education, they are qualified, they are bachelors, they are engineers, and they are giving wrong answer. They are giving wrong answer because their mind is not ready to process. Their mind is just trying to get the answer because this is their strategy. They try to mug up the answer. They throw it out immediately. When somebody is saying divide 60 by half, it means you have to divide 60 by half. Obviously, it would be 120. But they start giving answer 30, 30, 30 because they want to give the answer immediately because this is their practice. They mugged up their answer. They mugged up their answer. They never try to understand at the time of understanding. They never try to answer by processing at the time of giving answer because this is not their way of thinking. This is not their way of processing. Their way of processing is absolutely different. So this is what you have to understand, beta. This is what you have to understand. Just be calm. Just try to understand the language. Just try to think about it, what exactly it means. You can crack any competency-based question and you can check, yes, you understood it well. And I believe me, you are going to rock in this examination. Any examination, not only in boards, we are going to talk about boards, but not only in boards, you are going to rock in the examination like ITJ, NEET, NDA, blah, 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 blah. I hope it is clear. Yes. Okay, now everybody is very much into this. Somebody is saying why table is not pushing. So what you do, why table is, when I push a table, why table is not pushing? Just because you don't see, because you have you have never thought in a manner. For example, I'll give you a very small example. I have my smaller kid, younger kid is 5 years old. Once he tried to kick me on my leg and he kicked me hard on my leg. But obviously, I didn't feel anything, but he was hurt. And he went to his mom, Daddy ne mujhe mara. Daddy hit me. Was he telling right? Was he telling right thing? Was he explaining the phenomena correctly? Yes, he was explaining phenomena correctly. Because at the same time, Daddy kicked him. Because when he kicked at my leg, at the same time, my leg applied a force on his leg. But he experienced it better. For example, if I suppose two friends are coming and effect is something different, push is something different, effect is something different. For example, somebody came and pushed you in this way. Then both of you will experience in the same kind of feeling. But somebody come and push you in this manner. Again, you are not feeling the same way because the skin of this is not as sensitive as this. I mean, it is more sensitive than this skin. So it will have a different experience. Effect is different thing. Newton has said only about cause. Cause is same. Cause is same. When I am trying to push a table, for example, there is a frictionless surface. I try to push the table. You will see I'll keep on leaning and I'll fall down because it is also pushing me. Because you don't feel going somewhere. The reason is that there is another force also, friction, which you can't see. Suppose there is take a case. You are on a smooth surface and there is a table there. Go and push the table. You will go backward. Yes, table is pushing you at the same time because human brain cannot see causes. It can see only effect. Then you are finding I'm not being pushed. You are being pushed. But there is no effect of this push. That's why you're saying there is nothing happening because you always see effect. You never see cause. I don't know you understand of this because the method used, try to understand science is absolutely different in school what I'm trying to convey here. Perhaps some of you are listening me carefully and understanding what I mean to say. In the case of Newton's third law, effect and cause, what these words mean. I hope you understand that. Thank you. Absolutely. You can say same in pushing the wall, beta. Shikha. Yes, I am going to give you the idea. Thank you, beta Ayush. Thank you. So let's go back to the Aaj we're going to talk about this competency-based question. I hope in this conversation before starting, in the warm-up conversation also, you must have understood what the competency-based question. Competency-based question is a test of that you understand that knowledge or not. It is not the test that you know the information or not. Competency-based question that you understand it or not. It is not the question of you remember that thing or not. Remembering and understanding are two different things. You understand, you must be understanding what I'm saying. You can remember what I'm saying, but you have to understand what I'm saying. So why CBQs are important? I really love it. I really love this change in education policy, which I used to say this has to be there in schools. Then there will be no need of any coaching classes. There will be no need to me to come in this business. I might be doing something else in that case, because there is no requirement of people like me in this case. If a school are teaching in a manner that the student will understand and be capable of solving the competency-based question. So that's why I really thank from my heart to this NEP 2020 and NCF, National Course Framework 2023, which says there are a lot of other changes also. But this is a direct change which you will find in your board examination, because you are worried about board examination somehow. You are also not very much worried about learning. You are also very much worried about board examination. I'm not going to scold you for that, but this is a fact. You are also interested in only in board examination. So this is the case. Board examinations are going to be like this. Even this year, there were some questions in class 12 which people find that it is very difficult. But it was very simple, fundamental question based on the information, based on the knowledge given in the board books, NCERT's knowledge jo diya hua hai, the questions are aligned with that. But people are not able to solve those questions because they find it difficult, because in that question, they need you to understand it. They don't want you to, they are not going to ask you the question in which you wrote like this, yes, sir, this is the process, this is the process. You understand this is the process. The tone is different of learning. So obviously, this is one of the reasons. Dusra, when I just say more than 50% will be in the exam, in your board examination. So it's so, and later years, it would be more than, it would be 100% later. So 50% is there. So if you want to score well in your examination, you have to prepare well, at least at this situation. And believe me, this change, even for the sake of getting good marks only in boards, if you change your method and you start attempting CBQ, you are going to rock in your life. You're not only in boards, in life, you are going to do wonders. Not only in boards. Obviously, this is the main reason. These are the main reason. These are the physical reason in which you are going to get some benefit, because now the board examinations are like that. You have to do it. They are forced reason, but they are the true reason. If this kind of way of study will make you competitive, this will make you a true competitor. You won't believe 20 lakh students appear for JEE mains. Believe me, in 20 lakh students, more than 15 lakh students could not score a single mark in the examination. And they have done well in boards. That's why they are attempting for these examinations. They might be thinking, I was school topper. And why, if this would be not approach, that's why they say that school study is different, and for competition you have to go to coaching. These kind of myths are there. Why these myths are there? Because they say that they're different. How can they be different? The same course is there. Newton's law is same everywhere. I'm not going to change Newton's law. I have no authority for this. I'm going to tell you the Newton's law in the same manner. I'm going to tell you optics in the same way. I'm going to tell you the electrostatics in the same way. I'm going to tell you the magnetism in the same way. Whatever is written is written. I haven't done anything in this. The scientists have already done. I just have to explain what the scientists have done. What do they mean? So how the hell it is different? Why everybody is saying how school students are not able to solve these questions? Because they're not trained to solve this question. It is not your fault. It is fault of training. So now the NEP is trying, the National Course Framework trying, forcing school, forcing a student. This is the only way out. If we want to see this change, if we only say instruction to the school, please try to explain the concept very well. This is my request. And I'll take the paper in the same way as I used to take previously. It will be rote learning. Why the hell they will do effort? They will also not put effort in this because the same kind of question are being asked. In IIT Kanpur, when one of my teacher gave us mechanics of solid examination was there. They gave us 60 mark questions for those who just want to pass the exam, and they give 60 marks question for those who wants to understand mechanics of solid. They know there are two kinds of students who are just here to pass the examination. They are not interested in mechanics of solids. Even being in IT, because they want to do something software job, some kind of software job, some bank job, something like that. They are not interested in mechanics of solid. They have just taken this course to pass the examination. That's it. So nobody was. So people like who are not interested in mechanics of solid are not studying that hard part. They're not trying to understand because they know they can get 60 out of 60 because these 60 marks are for those who wrote everything. So this is what is the main reason. We need a deeper understanding, and you will be future ready. You will be future ready because at the end you have to do something. You have to compete because this is the competitive world. You have to compete. If I want to make you competitive, you have to solve competition-based question, competitive-based question. Okay. Now, so what? As I've already explained everything to you. First of all, you have to understand if you have wrote things only, you are not going to rock in this exam, any exam. Now, not in boards also. So this is a bad news for you. Now you are not able to qualify boards with flying colors if you are not understanding the concept properly in science and math at least. Because in science and math, it's a direct. There is a problem in science and in history. There is not very much problem in history because it is something you have to in English literature. It is not very much problem, but obviously there also these are problems are there also. There also you have to understand what exactly happening, what was happening at that time, why this decision is taken by this king at that moment. This will give you social skill. This will give you entrepreneur skill. That that leader has thought in this manner to overcome this situation. Mahatma Gandhi has to behave in this manner. Martin Luther has to behave in this manner. Why? What is the reason behind this? It is just not the information. You have to understand the situation. If you try to understand, then you will understand. If somebody is saying he did it wrong, he did it right, you will understand. No, that was important at that time because you process information. Even in history and science, it is very much important. And false informations will be there throughout this world because of this AI thing. A lot of false informations will be there. If you are not able to process the information, you will never understand which is false, which is right. Even people today are fighting with each other because of this false information spreading all around us. So you have to be capable of understanding what if it is false or not. And for that, you have to have an analytical mindset. And that will come if you practice it. Mind is another organ. Brain is another organ. If I want to make muscles, I have to go to gym and make muscles. I have to do exercise. If you want to make your mind analytical, you have to practice analytically. And it will be analytical. This is absolutely wrong statement that this student is a born intelligent. There is nothing like this born intelligent. Everybody is same. How you process will make you how you become. I mean, the kind of person you're going to become depends on what kind of activities you have done. Application skill. Application skill, what does it mean? For example, because people have seen that when light coming from sun goes through a lens, it gets concentrated in a small place and it can heat up that particular region. Then if you want somehow you have a lens and you went to somewhere, you are somewhere in jungle and you have nothing else and you want, this is a cold night, cold here, cold there, and you want to burn. You want to burn the wood. How would you do that? You can use this lens and and you will keep it there, and after some time there will be burn in this wood or piece of paper, whatever you have. So this is the application. This is one of the application. There are multiple application. You want to measure the height, for example. For example, if you want to measure the height of a tree, how will you measure the height of a tree? How will you measure the height of a tree? For example, there is a large tree. How will you measure the tree? So, for example, there is a long tree. Let's say this is a tree and you want to measure the height of a tree. How will you measure? If you understood trigonometry, height and distances very well, then you say, if sun is here, then this will be the shadow. You can see the shadow. Obviously, you can see the shadow. You cannot reach at the top of the tree, but you can reach at the top of the shadow. And you take another stick here. You take another stick here somewhere such that its shadow coincides with its shadow. Now, by the help of, because you have seen this stick, you have seen this length, you can measure these two distances very well, and you can measure this distance very well. Then by the logic of similar triangle, you can find out the height of tree. So you can measure the height of tree without putting the tape between the top and bottom end of the tree, just by understanding trigonometry, just by understanding height and distances, just by understanding similar triangles. So this is what application is. Yes, trigonometry can be applied. I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything. Just wait. So I have explained everything. There will be some case-based question. There will be AR question, assertion reason question. What is assertion reason question? What is assertion? You see some phenomena. This is called assertion. You have asserted this statement. This is happening, and then you make another statement, and you have to identify if this statement correctly explaining this the above equation statement. This is assertion reason question. Sometimes you might get confused. First of all, you have to understand that whatever assertion is written is right or wrong. Whatever reason is written is right or wrong. And then you have to find out the correlation between them. That this assertion is true because the reason written here is true. For example, somebody says, just tell me, I make a statement. Let's say it's an assertion statement. The assertion statement is that a man falling freely will feel weightlessness. A man falling freely will feel weightlessness. This is the first statement I made. And second statement I made, that we feel our weight not because of gravitational force, we feel our weight because of the normal reaction. We feel our weight because of the normal reaction from the ground. We feel our weight because of normal reaction from the ground. Normal reaction from the base, bottom. Bataiye, is this assertion right? Is this reason right? Is it the correct explanation or not? Is it the correct? Priyanshi is saying assertion is true, but reason is false. A correct assertion, correct reason false. Kalpesh is saying yes. I don't know what for yes. Yes for both. Both are true. Ria, are they? A is true, but R is false. Guru is saying both yes. And who are saying both yes? If you are saying one is correct, one is false, you need not to answer another question. If you are saying both are correct, then you have to think another thing, that is it correct explanation or not? First of all, you have to investigate both statements are correct or not. If both statements are correct, then you have to analyze this also. Is the reason correct explanation for the assertion or not? This is what you have to do again. P. Muhil is absolutely correct. Kalpesh is correct explanation. Yes, it is correct explanation. We feel our weight because of this normal reaction only. Because when you are in air, you're falling freely, mg is still acting. Mg is still acting. Mg is not your weight. First of all, you have to understand, you feel your weight. What you feel about your weight, you feel that something is heavy. What you feel, it is the normal reaction. That's why normal reaction is called apparent weight. I feel it. I don't feel mg, I feel apparent weight because of this normal reaction. When you fall freely, there is no surface which is putting normal on you. That's why you feel weightlessness. It is that both statements are correct and it is a correct explanation also. So this kind of logic has to be there. First of all, you have to identify the statements are correct or not. So AR questions B will be tricky. AR questions will be tricky only if both statements are correct. If one is correct, one is false, then it is very simple because it is just like true and false. But if both are correct, then you have to think very clearly that it is correct explanation or not. That's why this AR become significant. That's why AR is a good type of question, which I really like. But JEE has withdrawn this kind of a statement because in JEE, why they have withdrawn this kind of a statement? Because sometimes both statements are correct, and if you try to explain the assertion with the reason, indirectly you can explain. For example, sometimes somebody come up with the thought ki indirectly I can explain in this manner, then there is an ambiguity. But in NEET examination, it is there. In all other state level engineering examination, it is there. So AR will be there. So AR is a good way of understanding the concept. It is not only true and false kind of statement. Data interpretation. Data interpretation, what you understand, because there is a chapter in mathematics, DI is there. You are studying it from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. DI is there. Data interpretation is very important. In today's world, data interpretation is everything. Data interpretation is everything. By looking at the data, you can predict something. It is happening. You know when you talk with your friend, your brother, your phone is listening. And it is capturing that audio data from you, and then it is trying to, you have said, I want to buy Nike. Then after some time, you will see on your Instagram, there will be promotion of Nike there. There will be different kind of shoe brands will be available there. Why? Because data is there. Yeah. So they are not harder. This is myth. I have explained you everything. You don't need coaching. You don't need coaching for that. You don't need coaching for that. You have to change your attitude. You have to start asking questions in class. You have to practice in a way that you have to understand every concept. You don't need coaching. Only for toppers. Topper is a mythical word. Anybody can be topper if he wants to pursue. If he or she have thought of ki I am going to top in this examination, he or she is going to be topper. It is all about perseverance. It is all about how you think about yourself. It is all about ki how hard you are hitting. The toppers are not the word which is coming from the sky. You are topper. God has created you. It means you have something in you. There is something in you. You are a fighter. You are a topper. So I have given you example. For example, initially it was traditionally asked define photosynthesis. Now the CBQ kind of question is being asked. A student is observing what is happening in the case of whenever there is a sun, there is a food production, slow growth. What could be the reason? Expressing your knowledge of photosynthesis and light absorption. For example, if somebody asks you 3x plus 5 is equal to 17, you can solve it very well. 17 minus 5, 12. 3x is equal to 12, x equal to 4. You got it immediately. But now the same question is coming in the form of language, because the most important problem with the students these days is the language comprehension ability. They don't understand the language what is written. Isme likha hua hai, Anjali wants to buy a 3 pen and 1 notebook for rupees 17. If each pen costs rupees X and notebook costs rupees 5 and solve the equation to find the price of pen. Even it is written in the simpler form, but they can give you in different form. You have seen this kind of question are being asked in this. just tell me try to tell me the answer. A bat and ball combined cost 100 rupees. A bat and ball has a combined cost 100 rupees. Bat is 5 rupees expensive, 5 rupees expensive than ball. What is the cost of ball? What is the cost of ball? Tell me the answer. I just want to see. Tell me the answer. Bat and ball combined cost is 100 rupees. Bat is costlier than ball by 5 rupees. बहुत बढ़िया. Some of you have given answer correctly. Kanishka didn't get the question in very first. It's a simple question. How I proceed? मैंने कहा कि total cost of bat and ball is 100 rupees and bat is 5 rupees costlier. I'll give 5 rupees to bat. मैंने कहा take this 5 rupees. Now the remaining 95 rupees I'll divide equally. Because then only bat will have more 5 rupees more than the ball. So I give 5 rupees. I didn't write any explanation, x plus y, x minus y. I didn't write this. What I did, I gave 5 rupees to the bat and remaining 95 rupees, I distribute them equally. 47.5, 47.5. The bat cost will be 52.5 and the ball cost will be 47.5. There is no need to put calculation there. So this kind of, try to solve quizzes, try to solve mathematical quizzes, just try to solve mathematical quizzes. It gives you, it will definitely help you to increase your capability, analytical capability. Ayush, you say if you understand, but you have to practice first of all. I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm sure you will understand. So case-based question I have taken some case-based question from the S Chance Publications book because it's a good book I found. So I have taken good questions from here and I cannot explain all the questions now, but this is the case-based question. This is the talking about a scenario in which you have to think. They are talking about a scenario. They have taken another, this is assertion reason type question. Convex mirrors are commonly used in rear view mirror in vehicle. This is the information. Convex mirror has a wider view and also give a direct image. This is also information. Now you have to identify if both informations are correct and you have to identify if they are correlated, if the reason is correctly explaining the assertion. You have to think. I hope you know this. Everybody has read. If I ask what is written on the side view mirror, everybody will say the objects in this mirror are closer than they appear. Did you understand this meaning? Why it is happening like this? Why it is written? What is written? Have you ever thought? Somebody says there is a 1 ton of AC. Have you ever thought of what does 1 ton of AC mean? Have you ever tried to understand what does 1 ton mean? Ton is mass. How AC cooling capacity is being measured in terms of mass. Somebody says there is an earthquake in Russia of 8 point something. Do you understand what 8 point something is? Somebody says that I have a good loudspeaker of 200 decibel. Do you try to understand what does decibel is saying, loudness is, how they are related? If you start thinking in this manner, you start asking question, you will definitely evolve and you will be person nobody can defeat. Another, this is a chemistry question, and these kind of questions used to come in JEE and NEET examination. You have to identify the compound. They have given a story, what is happening. They're talking about a carbon compound, X. And by reacting with chlorine in sunlight, it is converting in the substitution reactions one by one, and finally it is becoming something anesthetic. Then you have to understand it is being used in biogas. Then you have to collect all the information you have read, and then you have to put this is application based question. You know cost, values of cost, but you have to evaluate. You have to evaluate. You should not worry about how are I going to solve this kind of expression. Very good. There are some questions. They have given you the value of 10A and they asking you the value of sin A and cos A. You have to understand if 10A is root 2 minus 1, you can write it root 2 minus 1 upon 1 type. This is perpendicular, this is base. Now you can find out hypotenuse by squaring perpendicular and base. And when you know the hypotenuse, you know the definition of sin A and cos A, and you just put the value and get the answer. Do you understand it or not? This is kind of question. For example, if I give you 10A minus, sec A minus 10A is equal to 1. Let me ask you, can you tell me what is the value of 10A? Can you tell me what is the value of 10A? You can get 100 out of 100 mathematics, I can guarantee. But you have to be consistent. You have to solve the question and understand whenever new concept will there, you just keep this in mind, because mathematics is all about pattern recognition. So you can find this book if you want to practice these kind of questions. If you want to practice these kind of questions, assessment is there, absolutely necessary for what I'm saying. But from where you will do all this thing? You need short notes. You need short notes. And you can get these short notes in these two books for science and maths. I have seen, I really appreciate these books, because every proper statement is given in the explanatory form, so that it will come to your mind whenever you study it. It will be there in your mind, because short notes is very much important for any competitive exam, because everything will be on the fingertips, everything will be in your blood. So these short notes are very much important. These short notes are very much important. You can get short notes here. You can get complete short notes. You can get all type of questions, assertion is with the proper explanation, with the proper solution, so that you will understand whenever you, because I also, at my time, I also learned a lot of mathematics and science by understanding examples. By seeing examples and understanding how they have solved, I understood it. So you can use this. You can definitely use this. You just try to solve these kind of questions. Just try to solve these kind of questions. You can scan this code also if you want to buy. So finally, this is the whole kahani. You have to understand, you have to apply, you have to analyze, you have to practice. And for practice, you have this Ashchan Rapid Revision book. And now this is the QR code. You can scan this QR code for this. You can scan this QR code for registration of the quiz, which will be held from August 8, 10 a.m. to September 30, 10 a.m. It means it is open for this, but you can register for this by scanning this quiz, and you can get a hell lot of prize. We will meet soon, and we should definitely catch up. We should talk about it. Not only the emotional and the motivational story. We have to understand. We have to come together to learn concept deeply. If you learn one concept deeply, it is equivalent to solving 2,000 questions. So this is the power of understanding. This is the power of comprehension ability. So that's it for today, because we are running out of time, not of energy. I'm fully energetic, but obviously our time is, we have a limited time, so we have to end it here. I hope you guys understood at least something from my interaction. Love you all. Bye. Sabhi ko enjoy your life if you find it enjoyable, because the most important thing in life is to be happy. Bye, 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 bye.
Thank you so much, NMS sir, for such a wonderful session. It was full of energy. It was full of takeaways, I would say. And to all the participants, thank you so much for being so active in the chat box and to interact with the sir also. Now it's time towards the closing of today's sessions. From rethinking English and to social science and to actionable strategies for science and mathematics by NMS sir, I hope we have laid a strong foundation for class 10 board prep. Now we'll return again because many of you were also asking when you can meet NMS sir again. So we will be back again for class 10 sessions on November 6th. Make sure that you are visiting our website to scan and to register for the November sessions. Do not forget, we will be having another 3 sessions which will be completely focused on time management, exam mindset, motivation, and also how you can present your paper to get good scores. Also a reminder, as you can see on your screen, there are 11 subject-wise quizzes. For class 10, you can scan the QR code which is there on your screen and you can get a chance to win Amazon vouchers worth 3,000. So make sure that you are going ahead, scanning the quiz. It will be live by August 8th. So I'll see you all again on November 6th. Till then, keep preparing and all the very best.